my good friend from Saint-Gobain, right here, Santanam exemplifies in some sense a vision for Tamil Nadu. And I want to start with a statement that he made in 2006 when he said Tamil Nadu is a state of mind. And I think it meant two things. One is it's the way you feel, the ethos, the ambience of the place, the gestalt. Equally, I think he meant that mind or intellectual power is what powered Tamil Nadu. So in some sense, when I saw that when the state had announced in this budget a scheme called ITNT, which is nearly 52 crores, 55 crores of funding, and I was happy. I think Vish was also involved in this. We were part of the group that put the first 5 crores together in terms of private sector contribution to get this going under, the very dynamic leadership of Neeraj Mittal, who's really toiled for this. I think the T there is actually standing for talent. And talent is really what defines this state, whether it is people, just look at the Ministry of Finance. We have a wonderful Honorable Finance Minister from the state. We have Mr. Somanathan, who exemplifies not only a wonderful bureaucratic capability to lead a bureaucracy very efficiently, but also a phenomenal state of mind. We have the Chief Economic Advisor from Tamil Nadu. So in everything we talk about finance and development, Tamil Nadu and Tamilians, to whatever extent, whether they're from, wherever they are from, I see everybody as a Tamilian, including Mr. Bansal, who's sitting here, because he has committed himself to the development of the state. Has always been a state of mind. And the thought I wanted to leave from my side before we start is, the future is calling us. And the future is calling us through the world, through the symphony. Some people think of it as cacophony, but I see it as symphony of the startup world. These exemplify the same things that in the 1950s and 60s, when groups like Amalgamations, when groups like TVS, when groups like Murugappa established the basic beachhead for industrialization in Chennai and other groups all over the state. Today, the equivalent movement is in the area of startups. Now, I can look at the data and say, wow, you only raised 5% of the total VCPE money last year. Wow, you only have 2, maybe 3 unicorns, out of which only 1 is a real unicorn, out of the 81 unicorns in this state. Wow, you only have 100 companies that got funded. Wow, 30% of Bangalore's talent comes from Tamil Nadu. I could look at the negative side, but I prefer to see the positive side of the whole thing. Firstly, the fact is that we have the talent. All we have to do is to make that talent welcome to stay here. And if that one single move, and I hope that will find some discourse in today's meetings, sessions that you're having, this narrative of how do we make this the most attractive place for diverse talent, regardless of origin. If Ukrainians want to come here after the war, they should choose us to come and stay. We need to make people welcome, to integrate fully into the Indian ethos and fabric of the national discourse, and become very, very mainstream in terms of attracting talent. We have people, we have great places. In fact, Chennai may be just the worst possible place to attract talent to. Maybe Coimbatore and Hosur are the right choices, or maybe a Madurai from there. I think we just need to have a lot of conversations today about talent and whether Tamil Nadu can attract. It's also attracted a very small amount of the FDI last year, because most of the FDI today is actually VCP investment. Out of the 75 billion or so FDI last year, maybe 55 or 52 billion is actually VCP funding, right? So unless you get the startup economy fired up, you will actually not get FDI in the new world. You'll only get the FDI of the old world, which of course people like Mr. Bansal are very, very good at, and the TIDCOs and the SIPCOTs, and they have it like a well-oiled machine in terms of making this the EV hub. Mr. Balaji is here, visionary crusader for the battery industry in the state, really has sort of given every ounce of his energy in the last 5 years to make sure the battery dreams in Tamil Nadu with local ability comes to life, right? So all that will happen, but if we want the new world, the startup world to come, we have to make this the single most attractive place for talent. It is nothing to do with anything else. And once talent comes in Hosur or Coimbatore, which I think is like the biggest story, the secret that we have, or Madurai, for example, which I think the finance minister is talking about as a place, then I think we have a very, very bright future. So that's what I wanted to say, Mr. Vishwanathan, to say that if we can really take that Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir motto and actually put it to implementation, saying we don't mind if you don't speak Tamil. In fact, speak Hindi, we're perfectly fine with this idea. But we want the best talent to come and be here. I think that messaging is something that we should not only give, but put into actual reality, whether it's with relaxation of social policies or whether it is creating infrastructure, which are the two big things which make it happen. So I hope that when you meet again in 2-3 years, I'm sure you'll do this again, and that time when India is having $150 billion of VCP inflow, I hope the same 12% comes to Tamil Nadu of 20 billion. So in the dream of the $1 trillion, 14% nominal GDP growth that Ms. Narayan and others have crafted, I am hoping, Ms. Narayan, that we will be getting at least 20 to 25 billion from the VCP sector and make people like Vish start 20 startup hubs in India, in Tamil Nadu, not just 3. Thank you very much. And